Welcome back to CBS Sports HQ, where it's Jackson Dart time in New York as Brian Daboll named the rookie the starter ahead of the Giants game against the Chargers. And the pressure's on for, of course, his NFL debut, but also to help secure the first win over the Chargers for New York in 27 years. That's absolutely wild. For much more on this game, let's go ahead and welcome in our friends Danny Kanell and Emory Hunt. Guys, we've got to start off with a little bit of a trivia question. Emory, do you know the last New York Giants quarterback to defeat the Chargers 27 years ago?
Danny Kanell. Duh. Come on now. Like that. I'm a big Danny Kanell fan.
Hey.
Had the big beach towel hanging off his side. Come on now. Like you. That's an easy question.
Easy question. Moving on. Yeah, it was 9/27, 1998. 208 yards, one tutty, one interception, 17 of 33, and a Giants dub. There's a look at some of the highlights. 34-16 was the final score. Danny, were you aware of this until just now? How does it feel to have this honor?
Oh, I mean, it's incredibly awarding. I'd like to thank my family and my coworkers for this moment. No, I did not. I mean, I remembered that game. Obviously, I didn't realize that that had been a drought that the Giants had against the Chargers. Like, that's the thing I didn't know. Clearly, I remembered that game and Chris Callaway's beautiful Dino route right there, a double move towards the corner and then the post over the middle of the field. But I remembered being on the dirt, the baseball dirt, from the diamond there. But outside of that, I did not know there was a streak that had lasted this long. It's pretty wild.
Now you know. And Justin Herbert, by the way, was 6 months old, so that's got to make you feel vintage. But let's zero into this game. Danny, what's got to go right for Jackson Dart if he wants to end this streak?
He's got to take care of the football. That's always priority number one. And I think he's got to get going. He's got to find a good chemistry with Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson, and he's got to get Cam Scatterbo running. But I think the ultimate thing is, I don't think it really has to be from Jackson Dart. The team has to lift their level of play on both sides of the ball. The Chargers are a better football team. I mean, there's a reason they're one of the teams that people think could make a Super Bowl run. No one is talking about the Giants to do that. So this sort of has to be a galvanizing moment for the Giants to come around a young player, which oftentimes you might see. The fan base will be infused. There'll be an energy in the crowd. And I do think early in this game, you'll get the best out of the New York Giants. You'll get their best fight. You'll get their best effort. So I think that's a good thing. So Jackson just kind of has to make sure he's managing the game and keeps that excitement level up. The only way to kill that is by throwing an interception or fumbling. So try to make sure you're managing the game, and there'll be a play or two to be made. If he makes those, they could pull off this upset.
Yeah, I look at the play calling too, Danny. When you think about Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka and you know that whole battle they had last year with who's calling the plays or what type of offense they want to run. We look at Dart, he's primarily an RPO type guy, and this is the type of situation where when you look at the Giants playmakers, Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatterbo, some of these tight ends that they have on their roster, Theo Johnson, to name a few, they're right there in line to run this RPO type style of offense to take advantage of those linebackers of the Los Angeles Chargers. So I think it's going to be more about the coaches and the play calls and getting Dart in the groove early. And once they get inside the red zone, really tap into his athleticism, something that 36-year-old Russell Wilson can't do right now. And that never really was Jameis Winston's game. I like how Dart is kind of tailor-made for today's NFL, and we'll see if that manifests itself inside the red zone.
Desperation defines this New York Giants season so far, and it's wild because it's not even October just yet. But one matchup in particular they could emphasis there, have the edge, Emory, is their pass rush against this injured Chargers O-line. How are you viewing that matchup?
This is the matchup I think they have to win because it is in their favor. One, because of the injuries you talked about, but also, to be completely fair and honest, as good as Justin Herbert has been as a quarterback, he doesn't feel pressure very well, so he takes a lot of sacks. And this is an opportunity for a team that has three legit pass rushers in Kayvon Thibodeau and Abdul Carter and also Brian Burns to really get after Justin Herbert and steal some of those possessions away from the Chargers. And if that's going to be the case, then you look at on the interior, okay, where he's going to step up into the pocket. Well, you got big Dexter Lawrence right there as well. So this is a matchup where the Giants have an advantage in this particular ball game versus this particular quarterback. And if they're going to pull off this upset, this is the matchup, number one, that they're going to have to win over anything.
Yeah, this is the edge. There aren't many on the field. This is the one. The Chargers are 8th in sack rates, in sacks given up. So you can get to them, and Emory just nailed it. I mean, they've got the young, talented pass rushers coming off the edge. I do wonder if the counter would be the Chargers trying to establish the run. But anytime there's a pass situation, this is a spot where the Chargers are vulnerable. It can be tricky because Justin Herbert is very mobile. He can get outside the pocket, but no quarterback likes to take the type of hits that he's taken so far. So this is one of the slight edges. I think the Giants have an opportunity to maybe make some game-changing plays.
Let's go ahead and pivot here to Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert. You just brought him up. He actually has a chance, you guys, to make some history on Sunday. With one more 300-yard game, he becomes just the fourth quarterback to reach that feat in 30 games in his first 6 seasons of his NFL career. Does he get it done, DK?
Yeah, I think he probably does. I don't know if he gets it done with a 300-yard game against the Giants. Maybe it takes another week, but he has been phenomenal. As a Miami Dolphin fan, I thought they should have drafted him over Tua. They didn't. Sort of the rest is history. We've seen how that's going. But he's got to, he'll chase these records, but where he has to do it, like a lot of young quarterbacks, is in the postseason. He's got to take this team there and make a deep run before he stamps himself as one of the elite quarterbacks, because I think he's kind of flying under the radar when he has fallen up short because he plays in LA. They don't get a ton of attention, not as much scrutiny as you would if you played in New York or Philadelphia or even Dallas, places where we're really hard on the quarterbacks. He's kind of flown under the radar, but I do think this is a massive year for him to make that next step forward.
And this massive year you spoke of, Danny, started in week 1 when he closed out the ball game against Kansas City in a situation where he normally didn't come up big. He came up huge in that game, and it's kind of been the foundation for him to have this MVP-like season. He's third MVP odds right now as we go into week number 4. And when you look at the opportunity in this ball game, if he keeps it outside the numbers, boy, they have a legitimate chance to hit some home runs against this Giants cornerback group, more so than if they keep it in the middle of the field where those safeties are going to be lurking in Tyler Nubin and Javon Holland. But they're super vulnerable on the corners. We saw teams pick on poor Drew Phillips all throughout the game because he's the smallest one. So there's some opportunities if they can pick up this pressure that they're going to get up front, because we know they have some talented receivers that can fly, and if they can pick up this pressure, man, he's going to have some opportunities down the sideline.
Think I might cook something up, take his over in passing, maybe parlay that, 6-legger or something fun. I feel confident in that one, you guys. How about a gameplay, though? Chargers enter as a 6.5-point favorite on the road. Where's your head at, Emory?
I like the Chargers money line, but I like the over as well. I think what Danny talked about in the open, you're going to get an inspired Giants group. This was rather strategic, very PR-like to start Dart in this game at home against this particular opponent, as opposed to start them next week against New Orleans on the road. Everything is going to be thrown at the Chargers here. You're going to get trick plays. You're going to get everything going for them. So this will be a tight game, but I like the Chargers to win. So I do like points to be scored, but I like Los Angeles to come away with the win.
Yeah, I like the Giants at home with the points. I think the Chargers, it's just hard to trust the Giants right here in this situation. They're 0-3. They're starting a rookie quarterback. But I do think that infusion of energy and enthusiasm will give this franchise a boost. There will be a buzz in there, and I think that helps the defense. I think the defense establishes the tone early, and I think that Jackson Dart will hit a couple big plays. We saw the Giants and Russell Wilson throw for 450 yards against the Cowboys there in a rough loss in week 2. I don't think he's throwing for 450, but there are some playmakers on the outside, and I do think this will make them excited. I think they'll step up for the young rookie. So I like the Giants and the 6.5 points.
All right, love it. Hey, Danny, I'm sure Dart would love to hear some advice from the last QB to do it and get it done against the Chargers in 27 years. We'll see if he's able to pull it off this upcoming weekend. There's a look at the full slate on CBS. It's going to be a fun one. Commanders at Falcons, 1 o'clock Eastern time. We'll be locked into that one. No Jaden Daniels. We'll see if Marcus Mariota can get the dub there for Washington. And then, of course, 4:25 Eastern time, Ravens, Chiefs. It's going to be a good one. Chargers, Giants will also be at 1 o'clock Eastern on CBS or stream on Paramount+.